What is up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be college advice, college freshman advice. I have no idea what I'm going to title this video yet, but basically it's just some advice that I feel like everyone should know if you're in college, if you're going into college. So yeah, we're going to get right into this video. So this video, I'm not going to talk about the typical things like going to class or waiting to buy your textbooks or stuff like that, because I think I've done a video like this already, and if I have, I will link it up there. But this video is going to be about the stuff that people normally don't want to talk about, kind of maybe the bad side to college. So my first tip is know your limit, and when I say that, I mean in terms of alcohol. I do not encourage underage drinking whatsoever, but if we're being realistic, people go to college and they drink underage. If you are going to drink underage, even if you're 21 and you're able to drink, please know your limit. Do not be that person that is blacked out drunk at a party that has no idea where they are, how they got there, where they live, their name. Don't be that person. You also don't want to be that person that is throwing up everywhere in the party or falling all over the place. So know your limit when it comes to drinking alcohol. I don't encourage drugs whatsoever, so we're not even going to have that conversation. But if you decide you want to drink, make sure you know how much you can drink before you get to the point where you cannot function. My next tip is going to be, do not go anywhere by yourself, like at night. I mean, obviously if you're walking across campus during the daytime, that's a little bit better than if you were walking by yourself from a party or to a party at nighttime. Please use the buddy system when you're going to the bathroom, when you're walking back to your dorm or to your apartment or wherever you're going. Please try not to walk by yourself. Even if you're a guy, things happen all the time. There are people who get raped, and if you are raped, please call the police. Do not take a shower. Go to the hospital and get a rape kit done. A lot of times the rapist is someone that you know, so do not be afraid to tell on them, basically, I guess you can say. I know sometimes people think that being raped is humiliating and embarrassing, and it's not your fault. It will never be your fault. It is always the rapist's fault. And this is one of those very touchy subjects, and not a lot of people want to talk about it, but it is something that needs to be talked about. Rape happens, and it especially happens on college campuses. I can't tell you how many emails I've gotten last year where they were letting us know that someone was sexually assaulted. Do not tell the campus police, because sometimes they can seem like they don't care. Call your town's police department and let them know, let them do the investigation. Like I said, go straight to the hospital. Do not shower. I know that's the first thing you're going to want to do is take a shower because you feel disgusting, you feel violated, but there could be DNA, and that is going to help catch the person who did this, and it just builds a better case. Even if you know who did it, it just builds a better case. So I know that that's a very touchy subject, and this may be a trigger for somebody, but I've known people who have been sexually assaulted on college campuses, and it is not something something easy to deal with, and you want to make sure that that person is put away and isn't on the streets and on your campus and able to do it to anyone else. So yeah. Try not to walk by yourself, try not to go anywhere by yourself. And I know it's a terrible thing to say, but at this point, you know, try to always be with someone, especially if you're walking in the dark. And rape can happen to men too, so don't think that it can't. It can. So yeah. Another tip that I have is to find a study partner. I know that sounds kind of like what, but find a study partner. Not necessarily someone in the same classes that you can study with, because I personally like to study by myself. But when I say a study partner, somebody that, you know, you can go to a coffee shop or the library with, someone that you can sit there and study with. Even if you guys have your headphones in and you're completely ignoring each other, it's kind of someone to hold you accountable so that you do your work. Because a lot of time we find ourselves like on our phones, and really not paying attention and studying like we're supposed to, but when we have another person there, especially if they're going hard and putting in work with studying, it kind of makes us sit back and be like, okay, we need to get it together. We can put our phone down and, you know, we can study like we're supposed to. If you guys have seen my what's on my iPhone video, if not, I will link it up there, but I talked about an app that I use on my phone called Flora, and basically you set the timer. I think the maximum amount of time is 3 hours, I want to say. So it's basically a time where you set your phone down until the timer goes off, and it's, I want to say it's like a plant, like I've never turned my phone on when I use the app, but I think like if you try to use your phone, it'll make like this plant grow, and it kind of makes you feel bad because it'll tell you it's like killing trees or something. So yeah, it's a really good app. It just basically not really deactivates your phone, but it kind of makes you feel bad for using your phone. So you just set the timer for however long you want to study, and you can just study, and then when the timer goes off, then you can go back to using your phone. It's a little bit different than the timer app, because with the timer app, you just open your phone back up, but with this app, it's kind of like, are you sure you want to, you know, use your phone? You know, so it's a little bit different than the timer app, but you can always use the timer app if you want to. So again, the app is called Flora. It's available in the iTunes store as well as the Android app store, so I definitely highly recommend that. Also, make sure you guys know your limit in terms of class load and class credit hours and things like that. Do not overload yourself if you know you can't handle it. Also, do not overload yourself if you're taking a bunch of hard classes and classes that you know that you struggle in. So if you're taking science classes and you know you aren't good at science classes, do not overload yourself with classes, because you're going to have to put in a lot more extra study time with the classes that you're struggling in, and you may fall off on some of your other classes. So like I said, if you struggle with science classes, and let's say you're taking 2 science classes, don't necessarily take easy classes, but don't also take 20 credit hours, because you may fall behind in those other classes because you're putting in the extra study time for your science classes. So maybe instead of 18 credit hours, maybe you should take 15 credit hours. So it's still a nice amount of classes, but it's not too many classes, and it's not too many hard classes. So you're able to study extra for those classes that you're struggling in, but you also have time to put into your other classes to where you won't fall behind. So don't be afraid to ask for help. I know sometimes we want to figure things out on our own, and we want to do it on our own, and sometimes that is the worst possible thing. So don't be afraid to ask for help, whether it's a professor, whether it's a friend, your RA, me. If you ever have any questions, you guys know you can always DM me on any of my social media, or you can DM me on YouTube. I guess that's what it's called on YouTube. You can send me a message on YouTube and I'll try to answer your question for you. But if you have questions and you can't figure it out on your own, don't sit there and rack your brain for days and days on end. Please ask someone for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. Everyone has had to ask for help at some point in time in their lives. We're not the first person who needs help, so just ask for help if you need it. The last tip that I have is to have fun, but remember why you're in school. You're in school to get your education, to get your degree, but you also need to have fun, meet new people, go out, party responsibly. You don't want to be that person that gets arrested for being blacked out drunk on the sidewalk and you get a disorderly conduct charge. You don't want to be that person. Just have fun, have responsible, safe fun, but also remember why you're in school. You're there to get your degree. Keep your grades up, again, go to class, all of that stuff that is common sense, but remember to have fun while you're doing it. Okay guys, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel before you leave, and also hit that post notification bell so you're notified when I upload, and I will see you guys in my next video.